Hello, I am Lacey Schrum. I am the founder of SmartKX, and today we are going to cover the feature updates we've made so far in the year 2026. So really excited to share these with you. We'll just pop through a few of the features, kind of tee up the problem of what led us to the feature, and then of course the feature itself and how you can use it when you're using SmartKX. So I will preface this with saying every feature that we build is based on direct user and prospect feedback. So if you have an idea, have something you need, some business piece isn't working for you, please let us know and we will share our roadmap with you and see if we can incorporate that into what we're building. For those of you who have shared feedback, thank you so much for doing so. It helps us do and build a product that we set out to build, which is solving real problems that advisors have. The only way we know that is if advisors tell us. So with that, we will get started. One of the recurring issues that advisors came to us and really they would ask our advice on is if they were starting their own firm or bringing on new clients or just new accounts in existing clients. And the calendar would look something like this. So the client says yes, signs the client agreement on May 5th. And then after May 5th, the client, you go back, you start opening the accounts. They're open on the 11th. We get one funded on the 13th at 750,000, and then the second one funds after another week at 750,000 as well. So advisors would come to us and ask really for advice, like if I'm billing quarterly in advance, when should I start billing this account? Because the answer wasn't really clear. Of course, one of the options is just wait until the end of June and bill for July, August, September. That isn't great because you're losing out on a month and a half of revenue when you're actually doing the work. So what we found advisors doing was saying like, well, where can I put this start billing? And they would get into this math/moral equation of, okay, if I start on the 13th, I'll bill 750 for the remainder of May and June. Okay, but wait, in less than 2 weeks, we're already at 1.5. Okay, so maybe I'll move this billing, when I start billing to the 24th. Okay, well, then we'll just miss all of this other, week and a half of billing. And so they try to put this start billing date somewhere in the middle that really made them feel the best, that they were doing right by the client, that it didn't create a compliance problem. It was easily calculated and easily documented. And the problem with that is it just takes a lot of time and it isn't a consistent process. Someone must do the analysis and they must execute it and document it. The other problem is that it also costs money. So you can see here the same exact scenario that I just showed you. 750,000 at 1% is $20 a day. So every day you're losing $20. And then once that other account funds, you're actually losing $40. And so for the advisors that say, well, we'll just wait until July 1st to calculate, for the half of May alone, you're losing $500. So that's a lot of money to just make a practice of leaving on the table. So when we looked at this problem, we have a feature for many of you that are using it called Smart Recon. And Smart Recon keeps the quarterly in advance and does an average daily balance reconcile at the end of the period. And with this problem and that information, we created some really nice automation that actually will track when the client agreement was signed, when the account was funded, when the other accounts were funded, and start billing those accounts appropriately. So without any decision, without any execution, without any moving calculations or pieces, we automatically track these things and start charging the day the accounts open and are funded over $1. So I'll show you what that looks like in practice. We have Robert Miller here. He has 2 accounts. And if you click on the accounts, you can see that this account funded date of May 13th, 2025 automatically populated. And that's the day either the account came over or the account went from 0 above $1. And another account, the 23rd. So this is the exact scenario that I showed in the calendar. And you'll also see that we have the contract here. And if you click on the contract date that he signed is May 5th. So again, we have the same problem. What day do we really start billing on? And what SmartKX has done is we have, because we're able to pre-populate those dates for you, when we come in and look at the invoice, we ran the invoice as of June 30th for July, August, September. We calculated the quarterly in advance fee as expected here. And then you'll see on the adjustments, we actually caught those accounts on the day they opened through June 30th and made that additional fee, added the 2 together for the total due for that quarter. So again, there's no decisions that have to be made. There's no values that need to be inputted, no calculations that need to be made. And this just happens. So for this client, it's $1,700 that was left on the table. That's quite a bit of money. And I don't think anybody is in the business of just letting that go when you have provided good value for it. You've done work, you deserve to collect your fee. So you can see the fee here. And then we've also made it really easy in the PDF invoice that some of our users look at, that it is calculated here. You can see May 5th through June 30th. And then each of these accounts actually calculate from the day they opened going forward. So really helpful feature there. We've gotten some great feedback on just the simplicity of it. And a lot of advisors just tell us, like, I don't even need to think about this, which is so lovely. It's just automatically running. So if you're using Smart Recon or if you're using Average Daily Balance, please check that out and see how much revenue that you're actually collecting there. So hopping into some other updates that we've made, we really took time at the end of last year and the beginning of this year to understand what was taking advisors so long when they were calculating and collecting revenue. Of course, insufficient cash is a huge one. So advisors would calculate the fee and really rely on their custodian's feedback or rejections to say, no, this account needs to raise fees to cover. They would raise fees and then they would go back and submit the fee again. And so this was a significant time delay and just another item to put on the list. And so we put insufficient cash on the alerts for bulk billing originally. And then we started adding other alerts that precluded the advisor from billing. So no values or accounts at $0. So if an advisor went to bill and the account was either delinked or had a 0 value, it would tell the bulk billing report tells the advisor before he or she tries to calculate the fee and submit it to Schwab. Unpaid invoices. So if you remember the end of last year, we built a really nice feature that watches for the fee that you charge a client versus the fee that's collected and automatically marks your invoices as paid as those fees that you charged come over. So it's been really nice because sometimes advisors forget to check the rejections, don't have rejections. We've even seen where the rejections don't necessarily come through. So that revenue reconciling is also reflected on the bulk billing report. So you can see if a client's full invoice from the last period hasn't been collected, it will give you that alert. Perhaps you need to resubmit it or raise cash, but it will tell you before you bill this for another period, last period's was not collected. So these billing alerts right now are available in the bulk billing report, and it is recommended that this is something that you run before the end of period. So today's June 23rd. We're 7 days out from running billing for third quarter. So it's a great time to run that bulk billing report, see any alerts and address them now so that on July 1st, you're easily able to run your fee calculation and collect fees, and being able to have all these things already addressed before you submit to your custodian. So if there are anything that you have, any items out there that you preclude you from billing, please let us know and we will add them to the reports or our roadmap of how we can get that information to you before you try to bill. So going back over here to the app, you'll start to see, you may have already noticed that there's a new column here called billing status. And this billing status will change over time. You'll see we have some quarterly in advance fee schedules here, and those are marked ready based on the schedule. We're 7 days out, and so these accounts for the quarterly, 15 days out, for the monthly, 5 days out, they will change to ready. Once you calculate the fees, they will change to billed. And then once the fees are collected, they will change to paid. So the standard status that you'll see for most of your use in the app is paid. But you'll know, a week after you submit billing, if some aren't paid, there's some type of rejection or some reason why all the fees haven't been collected. So combining that with the bulk billing report, you'll see that we're moving more of these alerts into the app experience. So expect some additional upgrades there as well. And you can always hover on these and it will tell you what this means. So some other updates that you'll notice on here that we've made. One is this rep codes. This is for larger firms who are either have multiple different billing types and schedules, or they have multiple types of reps that they need to calculate compensation for. So we introduced a feature this last quarter where we could actually tie, or we call them tag, IDs to households or accounts. And what this does is it helps your data as it flows through the workflow. We calculate the fee, and then a lot of our advisors are either calculating their own advisor compensation out of that fee file, or they're sending it to a third party to calculate the compensation. So one of our partners is Advisor Bob. Advisor Bob takes our reports and calculates the compensation. So for the larger firms who have multiple ways of compensation, we have added a way to attach that information in SmartKX and send the information to the place where it's supposed to go for the actual compensation calculation. And another item that you might notice here is our billing type and billing schedule. And in the filters, you're able to filter by both the schedule and the type. And so again, this is for larger firms who have multiple different fee cadences where they want to segregate only seeing their monthly, only seeing their quarterly. And the two of these features actually tie nicely to each other in that you can set defaults for rep IDs. So here you'll see monthly in arrears, average daily. Anytime a contract is created with this rep ID tied to the account, you can actually, it will automatically assign the billing type to it. So again, just really cutting down on the amount of information that our user needs to continually input and making that data really flow seamlessly throughout. And lastly, One of our biggest updates that you may not see, but you will definitely feel, are optimizations on our speed and our data quality as it's coming in from our custodians and our integration partners. So you've probably noticed that many of these tabs load faster than they did before. We've sped that up. We've also increased the capabilities on receiving data from the custodian. So making sure that this list of accounts is a true list of accounts coming from the custodian, that it's updated daily, even for the accounts that are not yet funded, are not yet active, or conversely have delinked or dropped off. So getting all of that information very clear and fast is something that's always top of mind for us. And we've done a lot of work on this this quarter in particular, and just making things faster, and less clicks. One of our biggest, most requested upgrades that we made this quarter was if you're creating a contract. Instead of, we used to have 5 tabs here, we now have 3. So we've combined some tabs, and instead of clicking through, being forced to click through each tab, you can just hit continue to review and it will go to the end. So this one has been routinely recommended. And so we really went through and did a deep dive of how do we eliminate clicks. And this one, I think we went from 10 clicks to 6. So that is one of our internal goals, is just to reduce the amount of clicking that you need to do, which means the workflow is faster, it's more automated, less decisions that have to be made. So again, if you're in accounts, you have a very basic setup, you can hit review, look at it, hit submit. And that does it for our updates this quarter. If you are a user for SmartKX, thank you so much for being here, for continuing to believe in our product and use it and give us feedback. And if you are not using SmartKX yet, we'd love to see you soon. And please keep us updated on your needs as a user, not only from the billing or revenue side, but just as your business continues to evolve. We really pride ourselves on helping advisors build their business and get things that they want to do done, hit goals. And so whatever that involves, we are always interested in knowing that. So for some advisors, that's growing, organic growth, it's partnering, it's being prepared to be acquired. For some, it's their CRM, finding another custodian. So anything, if you are working on anything or the things that keep you up at night, please feel free to share with us, even if they aren't revenue related. We are deep into this industry and we're always willing to help. So have a great rest of the summer, and thank you so much.